at the Houston offense. Don Baggs, Mike Munchak, Bruce Matthews, Doug Dawson, and David Williams on the front line. Dawson was a question mark because of a knee. Lorenzo White, who had a good second half against the Giants, in the starting lineup instead of Alan Pinkett. And the Fab Four with Jeffries, Hill, Gibbons, and Duncan. So the Oilers start out from the 20. By White, nice one-handed grab, but it's back behind the line. Roddy Young made the stop. The front four for the Jets: Washington, Mercer, Bird, and Lageman. They have played extremely well. And what the Jets refer to as the Hawk defense. They go with the two extra defensive backs. The only linebacker is Kyle Clifton. So Tony Stargell and Eric McMillan join as the nickel and dime defensive backs. It's a second down and 13 back at the 17. Moon with the time has Duncan. And he's run out at the 24 by Ronnie Young.
You know what's amazing about this Houston Oilers team, Marvin? Every time we do it, they start out the game in the hole. Now, they started the ball on the 20. They try to run a slip screen to the outside to White, to Lorenzo White. Lonnie Young makes a play for a 3-yard loss. Now they're looking at a situation, 3rd down and 6. I can't remember them getting a first down in their first series of the games that we've done, and I think we've done 6 of them.
We were talking about this with the offensive coordinator for the Houston Oilers, Kevin Gilbride, and he's puzzled by the fact that the run and shoot has not gotten off to a good start at all this season. Moon able to complete, but short of the first down. Gibbons right at the marker, and let's see. Well, they are spotting it. And giving him the first down at the 30.
You talk about the forward progress, and that's what they look at. Now, here comes Gibbons. Now, watch. He's got to get to the 30. Right there, he's beyond the 30. You can see that he is beyond it. It is a good mark, the right mark. But Moon stood back in the pocket, had some heat from Lageman coming up, but they got the ball off, got the first down.
It is a first down at the 30. 85 Hill in motion. We're just underway at the Astrodome. And it's a sideline completion to Drew Hill. Lonnie Young on the coverage.
When you look at Lageman now, he is an excellent football player, but look at the double team that they put on him. They put Maggs on him and Munchak on him. He takes up 2 people. What happens there is when the Jets read this defensively, you got to believe that they're going to start sending a linebacker or a safety to get into Moon's face.
And Moon has opened up at 4 of 4. And they have thrown on every down. It's a second down and 4 at the 36. Lorenzo White, the ball carrier last week against the Giants, had that strong second half, 82 yards on 10 carries. And it will be a 3rd down and 1 at the 39.
And Lorenzo White, the yardage he just picked up on that play, which was about 4, he did that basically on his own because he was hit in the backfield.
And as Lorenzo was telling us yesterday, he's not a happy guy, has not been pleased about his lack of playing time. A holdout, came in late, lost his starting job to Pinkett. He said he was upset about his contract because he was the starter, and as he put it, his backup was making more than him. Stacked up, try to slash across for the first down. Jeff Lageman looking to keep away, and let's see where they spot it here.
You know, it just looks like that if he misses this, it'll be by the nose of the ball and not much more. And the question is, do you go for it? Remember, there is no tomorrow, and you can't save anything.
There is no tomorrow.
Played 16 games this season. You talk about the big play offensive football team. Folks, you're going to believe this for the run and shoot. They have only had 2 long bombs this year. One was to Hill, who had to come back and then made a great run. The other one was to Tony Jones from Cody Carlson, the backup quarterback, and that's after the game was out of control in Cincinnati.
Moon had difficulty with that hard snap and just runs it out of bounds. Run out by Tony Stargell. Well, that took off like a shot.
It just bounced off his hand, and Marvin Washington had a shot at Moon for a huge loss, but Moon still has great agility at the age of 35. Watching the ball, he's really not paying attention, and it almost hit him in the head. Now there's Washington coming up on Moon. He misses him, and Moon gets back about 6 yards. Here it comes again. It just looked like maybe the ball was snapped too soon, and Moon wasn't ready for it. Washington's there, Moon makes him miss, and picks up 6 yards.
It is a second down from the 37. And again, difficulty with the snap. This time Moon able to recover. Let's say, did Jeffries catch it? I saw a deflection. James Hasty on the coverage, and it is rolled incomplete.
This is, I mean, we were blocked off, and it's right in front of us. Here comes Jeffries. There's Hasty there. Watch this ball. Now it's going to go out of his hands. Does it hit the ground, or does it hit his hand? Now it might on the shoulder. Here's from behind. Now, does the ball hit the ground? There? Yes. The ball hits the ground. Good call. But that's 2 bad snaps to Moon in a row.
The center is the veteran Pro Bowl player, Bruce Matthews. It's a third down and 13. 9th play of the drive. 5 minutes gone by. First quarter. And Moon throws down the field. Complete. Haywood Jeffries with a beautiful catch. Covered by Lonnie Young, and that's good for 24 yards.
James Hasty made a break on the ball too soon, and I believe it was number 40, and Jeffries stayed with the ball. This is an excellent catch. 84 is Jeffries. Watch Hasty, number 40. Now watch what he does. He breaks on the ball for the interception. He goes in front. The ball is behind. Jeffries has total concentration. They have the ball inside the 40.
And then Lonnie Young made the stop. It's a first down at the 39. Haywood Jeffries led the NFL with 100 receptions, 1,181 receiving yards. Now Moon at the time, goes sideline. Drew Hill able to make the catch. Tony Stargell on the cover. Drew Hill telling us yesterday after practice that for sure next year will be his final season, although he did say last year that this would be his finale. As you see Moon firing for the sideline for Hill. We asked Hill why. He said, well, he appears to be still going strong. He said he's reached the point where he's taken enough of a pounding, does not want to go out with a mediocre season, so next year will be his 13th and final season.
And he's going back to Georgia and hang out.
That is what he said.
I love that. I'm going to go hang out in Georgia.
It is a second down and 1. And Hill was wide open as another Houston first down at the 20-yard line.
You know, Gibbons is one of those guys that fell 4 yards short of his personal incentive bonus. But when Gibbons is in the game, he demands an awful lot of respect. Now, he's looking downfield, and then Moon just dumps the ball off to Drew Hill. And when he's there, there's just no one around him. They're giving up the short, taking away the deep, and the short's going to kill you.
Third catch of the day for Drew Hill. Warren Moon, 7 for 8, 59 yards, 12th play of the drive. And to the ground for White with a burst.
Remember the last time these two teams played, Mike Monchuk, the all-pro guard, did not play. Watch number 63. Pull out, get the block on Bird right there on 90, and opens the hole. Clifton comes up and makes the play, but White had already picked up 8 yards.
It's a second down and 1 at the 11.
Yeah, now look at the red zone. They scored 47 out of 58 times. That is scary.
Lorenzo White making his first start of the season. The lone deep back and gets the call again. And has the first down for the Oilers. It will be a first and goal.
You know, Marv, yesterday we talked to Pete Carroll, the defensive coordinator for the New York Jets. And the one thing, you know, he loves the defense's team. It's exciting. There's a lot of things he says. He knows what they're going to do. They're going to line up and come after you. We understand that. But I don't care if you use 6 defensive backs, 7 defensive backs, 5 down linemen, whatever you use. If your linemen do not get to Warren Moon and force him to throw early, he's going to beat you all day long.
And the man the Jets had so much difficulty with in that early meeting, Hayward Jeffries, is now flanked to the left side. First and goal at the 6. Here's White. And picks up a yard. Pete Carroll telling us that he felt the Jets had Jeffries properly covered in that last meeting, but obviously that they did not. He ended up switching James Hasty to Jeffries after Don Boyd Odegaard had major problems. We'll see more of Hasty on Jeffries, who had 13 catches last time out.
What did Jeffries say to you yesterday about Don Boyd Odegaard?
He said, is he still with the club? He's still in the league. I don't think Don Boyd would find that too amusing, but he had a difficult time in that first meeting. Second and goal at the 5. Throws it, looking to throw it away, although Curtis Duncan soared high right near the goalpost trying to pick it off.
You know, this is the thing where I was talking about just moments ago. You see Moon laughing. Now watch how much land he can survey. He goes back to throw. He's looking to his right. Now his left. Now back to his right. And he's going to throw the ball the only place that Duncan could catch it if he can. But he would have been out of bounds, come down out of bounds. And so the defensive man wouldn't get it. They want to come out of this with at least a field goal. And can you believe the run and shoot offense has held the ball for over 9 minutes in this first drive?
And one of the problems last week against the Giants, the Oilers could not get the ball. Giants controlled it. Third down and goal. Moon to the end zone. Touchdown!
Gibbons now catches 2 more touchdown passes. The Houston Oilers win this game. I'd give him his bonus.
I see.
But you better win. Yeah, again, you're looking at Warren Moon, had time to throw the football and look over the field and find Gibbons.
16 plays, 80 yards. They had it for 9 minutes and 16 seconds. And here's Al Del Greco with the punter Greg Montgomery to hold, but a flag has been thrown since back on opening day of the season. It is now 7-0 Houston with just 5:44 remaining in this first quarter. Moon connecting with Gibbons. Mark Moon 8 for 10 on that opening drive, 64 yards and the touchdown. A.B. Brown and Terrence Mathis are back for the kick, and this is Brown on the return. And he fumbled. As Brown was going down, he coughed it up, but the Jets able to recover. That's Pat Kelly, backup tight end, on the loose ball.
Boy, Brown runs right over Steve Jackson, number 24 of the Oilers, on this run back. I mean, he runs right through him. Jackson has a great shot at him.
So the Jets will go to work from their 28-yard line. We'll be right back. The television blackout was lifted. Several Houston players, though, lashed out at fans for their lack of support. Well, it's a chicanery on the opening play, and it does not work. Flea flicker attempted. Chris Dishman providing the coverage on Altoon.
Yeah, but they were looking downfield on Rob Moore, and Bo Orlando is the guy that played it safe, got in the middle.
All right, the Jets Offensive line, Criswell, Cadigan, Sweeney, White, and Eatman. Much respect on the part of the Oilers for the right guard, Dwayne White. Johnny Hector getting the starting nod with Laird Thomas sidelined by the ankle problem. Toon, Moore, and Boyer are the receivers, so it's Hector and Baxter at the running back slot. Second down and 10 from the 28. The Jets with the ball. They're trailing Houston 7-0. And this is Hector. Johnny Hector last Sunday in Miami broke out for 132 yards on 13 carries. Dishman and Latham brought him down. That front seven has had a terrific year. Fuller, Williams for the injured Pro Bowler Ray Childress, Smith and Jones. Latham, Smith, and Meads. Latham very fragile, has a back injury and a rib problem, and the secondary had a rough day against the Giants last week. Bubba McDowell, for one, looking to bounce back from what he called, candidly, his worst day as a pro. It's a third down and 2 from the 36. And O'Brien able to complete to Mathis for a first down. He was hit by Darrell Lewis. Getting back to the sellout here at the Astrodome, several Oiler players, Sean Jones in particular, lashed out at fans for their lack of support, and that led to an apology to the fans by Houston owner Bud Adams. In effect, the poor finish by the Oilers, capped off by that loss last week to the Giants, revived lingering doubts by fans who have been through many disappointments with the club. A team that has gone to the playoffs the past 5 years, but nothing to show for it. O'Brien able to complete out of the 46-yard line. Rob Moore on the reception. Therefore, the game did not sell out until yesterday after going 11-5 and winning the division title. Anything less than making it to the championship game, a major disappointment to Houston fans. Well, some of the Jets helping the Oilers sell out. Kyle Clifton, a native of Texas, bought 42 tickets. Marvin Washington, also a Texas native, purchased 41 tickets. That is a portion of the Jet crowd. It is a second down and 5 at the 47. O'Brien in trouble and goes down to the 48.
Sean Jones is fired up, and he is number 96. I watch Sean Jones go into the inside, and he's taking an inside move on Criswell and gets to O'Brien, doesn't make the tackle. He said something interesting to us the other day. He said the only guy that really ever beat Criswell, Jeff Criswell, was Bruce Smith. He said, so I'm trying to use some of his moves to get to the inside or get to the outside. That time it worked.
Well, I said Criswell, he thinks has had a decent year, but Bruce Smith has really gone to town against him. The pass intended for Toon. And the Jets forced a punt.
O'Brien just threw the ball too soon because he had Toon wide open. Toon went down and broke to the outside. If the ball's on target, it's got to be a catch. He just threw the ball a little bit too soon, and there wasn't that much heat on him.
Here is Louis Aguiar getting ready to punt from his 32-yard line, and Pat Coleman is back. The Oilers have had an adventurous time in the punt return game, and Coleman has muffed a few. High snap. And Aguiar. Fair catch by Coleman on a pop fly from Aguiar that went for 33 yards. And Joe Kelly involved.
Joe Kelly just, Mike Dumas, he grabbed him by the face mask, and the official's standing there. Why would you do that? I don't care what's said. Now, here they come up off the ground. But watch what Kelly does. Now, Dumas says something that doesn't make a difference. But right there in front of the official, don't grab his face mask. Now he's going to throw it. Is he going to call each way? Because Dumas ends up grabbing Kelly's face mask. Words were exchanged.
Yes. Joe Kelly has been displeased about his lack of playing time, because when you go up against the run and shoot, Kyle Clifton, the lone linebacker to remain.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, grabbing the face mask and twisting. Number 58 after the play is over. 15 yards. Timeout.
Yes, that a specific interpretation. Grabbing the face mask and twisting. The call.
Tell you something, I've raised 3 children, 3 daughters, and I'm not about to raise 47 more kids.
Interesting perspective, yes. And here's Moon, line driving it. Intended for Haywood Jeffries, who was covered by the strong safety Brian Washington.
And Washington, a little shot afterwards. The official was there, so no harm, no foul. Moon threw the ball going backwards off his back foot and never got enough zip on the ball. Jeffries is coming across the middle. Kyle Clifton is in the middle. Watch this afterwards. Bink. That's legal. That's fine. Haywood getting the huddle.
Well, Houston Oilers opponents feel the only way to go up against the Oilers run and shoot is to be extremely physical, as the Philadelphia Eagles found out. Giants played them physically last week. Completed penalty marker down as Hill is able to cross the 40-yard line.
You got a holding against Houston. That'll bring it back. The only problem, though, when they mentioned Philadelphia doing that, when you hear the other guys said, yeah, but they have Reggie White and Simmons, Clyde Simmons, and a bunch of other people, and Brown, and a whole bunch of people enjoying her up there in front, and that makes a big difference.
Holding. 66 offense on a takedown, 10 yards, still second down.
And that is Doug Dawson, who was a question mark for today because of a sprained knee, but he has opened up at right guard with John Flannery waiting in the wings.
Here's Dawson right here. When you see what happens, and they call it a takedown, he's on Dennis Byrd. It's a takedown. It's kind of a tackle takedown.
It is a 2nd and 20 at the 25. It's Houston 7 and the Jets nothing in this AFC wild card matchup. Minute 45 left in this first quarter. Moon for a sideline pass intended for the 5'7" Tony Jones. Eric McMillan on the coverage.
Is it redundant to say that he threw it over his head? 5'7". It's very hard to drop the ball right in on Tony Jones. First of all, it's hard to find him behind all the defensive backs, but then the ball was well thrown over his head.
That is in the category of mean commentary.
No, you know, Tony is tough, but, you know, you got to get him out in the open where you can see him, though.
I will not even react to this. Tony Jones, the smallest player in the NFL, he actually, although listed at 5'7", is closer to 5'6". As a junior at the University of Texas, a walk-on for Tom Pender's basketball team. That's at 5'6", has explosive speed, exceptional quickness, and a tough player. It's a 3rd down and 20. Moon facing the pressure. Flag has been thrown, and the pass was intercepted, but let's see whether McMillan was inbounds.
They say he is inbounds, and again, they'll review it. But the flag is against, I think it's against Houston again for holding.
Eric McMillan lost his starting job at the beginning of the season to Lonnie Young and has excelled on special teams. Also as the extra defensive back, he continues to be a big play man. Despite the lack of playing time, he had 3 interceptions.
Holding. Number 74 offense. Penalty is declined. The Jets will take the result of the play. 1st down.
So the hold on the center, Bruce Matthews, and the interception by McMillan gives the ball back to the Jets.
And here comes McMillan. Look at his total concentration on the ball. 1-2. He is inbounds. There's no question about it. And he actually picks up another yard or 2. Watch McMillan here. Great concentration. Left foot in, right foot in, left foot still in.
Peace of mind.
Had a high number of interceptions during the regular season. 21, and he was picked off a moment ago. Running hard, Johnny Hector. Hector accelerating. Stopped by the middle linebacker, Al Smith.
The Jets on 1st down, now they're bringing the tight ends off of the field, but they had 3 tight ends. Criswell excuse me a minute. Dressel and Kelly were both in the game, along with Boyer. Now they go back to the regular set with 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and two backs.
Second down and 3 at the 32. It's Hector cutting inside and has picked up the first down. Doug Smith, right defensive tackle, made the stop. Johnny Hector, in his 9th year out of Texas A&M, he was actually left unprotected by the Jets in Plan B. Miami was interested, but he resisted, decided to stay with the Jets during the regular season. Did not get much of a chance to carry the ball, but he averaged 5.5 yards per carry and had the terrific day last week in Miami.
Now the Jets are going with 2 tight ends, but the other tight end is Trevor Maddox.
Coming down to the end of the first quarter, and Hector is hit for a loss. Final seconds of the quarter with Houston up by the score of 7-0 on the long drive capped off by the touchdown pass from Moon to Gibbons. They had it for
left hand. Right now he grabs his hip and in the rib area. We'll just have to wait for the word, but very slow coming off the field. Every game we've done, he goes off at least once, but he's back on the field again.
And there's Jeff Alm in his 2nd year out of Notre Dame. He has made it back from arthroscopic knee surgery. Second quarter is underway. Houston 7 and the Jets nothing. And it's back to the ground with Brad Baxter getting the call, stopped by William Fuller. Baxter with his first carry.
Boy, Fuller made a nice play. He came upfield and then went right back into the hole and made the tackle on Brad Baxter and held him to like about a 2-yard gain. But it was just a super play by the defensive end.
It'll be a 3rd down and 5 at the Houston 21. And now Freeman McNeil has come on for the first time.
Excellent receiver.
McNeil ran well in Miami last week, 11 carries and 55 yards. Remains in the backfield for block, and O'Brien guns it to the tight end Boyer. Right at the first down marker, he was popped by the right corner Richard Johnson. And they are spotting it as a Jet first down.
Well, O'Brien just sees Boyer at the last second. He was looking downfield. Watch O'Brien's eyes. He's looking to his right. He's looking downfield. Now watch. Right at the last second on the left. There's Boyer. Now he's got to get it to him. He gets it to him right now. Good hands. First down.
Jets first down at the Houston 15. Minute and a half gone by in the second. And again, O'Brien able to complete this time as Al Toon with a short pickup. Richard Johnson on the stop. It has been an odd season for Al Toon. 74 catches, 963 yards. Very impressive stats. However, 0 touchdowns.
Look on the right of the screen there, folks. That's 0 touchdowns. You know, I counted, and they list the NFL stats, 41 receivers in the top 41. He's the only one without a touchdown. I think every receiver that's only caught like 1 or 2 balls in the league has at least 1 touchdown.
Had his best opportunity a couple of weeks ago. Dropped one in the end zone against the Detroit Lions. Second down and 6. And it's Hector, stopped by Doug Smith, who was very quick to get back in there.
He's amazing. Quick healer. Doug Smith, I'm serious. He's done, but he'll play. This guy is a tough man. And again, and then we're not joking about it, but every game, something happens to him. But it's a little nick, little nagging injuries. He goes to the sideline, takes a break, comes back in and plays well.
Jets looking at a 3rd down and 5. It's the 8th play of the drive. Terrence Mathis in motion. O'Brien off the roll, throwing end zone. Let's see, was he in? It's Al Toon.
They call it a touchdown.
Yes, he caught it. His first touchdown of the season.
Toon is isolated on the outside on Johnson. Watch this. And Toon goes back into the corner, runs a post, what they call post corner pattern. The question is, does he have control of the ball? They got to view it. Watch his hands. Forget his feet. Does he have control? Now there's where the question comes in. They're going to take a look at it. He actually, Al Toon gets both feet down. Now remember, here's the guy, 74 passes, no touchdowns. Now he's in the corner of the end zone. He does get his feet down, but when he gets his feet down, does he have control of the football? Watch his hands, if you can, and his feet. But here it is. Bang, bang, he's down. But does he have control? Now,
Rolling on the field is a catch with both feet inbounds. The play is being reviewed.
here it is. Watch the bobble of the ball. Both feet are down. Now, does he have control? The right foot is out. I would give him the touchdown. He does have control.
The play stands as called. Touchdown.
All right, the replay official is Al Sabato. And following the review, they are calling it a Jet touchdown. So Al Toon, who did not score a touchdown during the regular season, has one here in the playoffs. 8 plays, 39 yards, and here is the Jets' new kicker, Raul Alegre, who has replaced the injured Pat Leahy. And he has tied the game at 7. Pat Leahy, incidentally, yesterday was placed on injured reserve because of the hip and hamstring problem. Game tied at 7. We'll be right back. And there is Pat Leahy, who made the trip here to Houston. Incidentally, Raul Alegre's closest friend on the Jets, as it turns out, is Pat Leahy. And the kick out of bounds, ball at the 35.
You know, I talked to Pat Leahy, and you always tell me about hanging around in lobbies. We have to go through the lobby to get to the meeting room. So I was in the lobby, and Leahy backed him up and said, I am inactive,
Kickoff out of bounds.
but I am not retiring. I will be back to play.
First down.
At 40 years of age, he is the oldest player in the NFL placed on injured reserve yesterday. Had an up and down season, and then Alegre came on last week, and he was one of the heroes. A couple of pressure kicks in the overtime victory against Miami. As it turns out, Alegre, along with Teddy Garcia and Ian Howfield, were battling for the Houston kicking job during training camp.
And Howfield won it.
And then he was replaced by Del Greco. The Oilers take over at the 35-yard line. Moved under pressure. Goes incomplete. Pass intended for Ernest Givens.
Mo Lewis was in Moon's face. I mean, he came, and Lorenzo White misses. Here it comes. Lorenzo White goes out to block Mo Lewis. Mo Lewis gets in to Moon's face. He really had no chance and had to dump the ball right away.
Warren Moon opened up very impressively on the first drive. Going 8 for 10, 64 yards. However, he's 0 for his last 4. He had a sensational game against the Jets at Giants Stadium back in Week 7. Moon was looking up top and then decides to go to the short room with Lorenzo White. And he is shy of the first down, kept away by Lonnie Young.
Lorenzo White is a tough player, and again, he is not very happy. This is his first start this year, and he's not a happy man. He's got a 2-year contract this year and 1 more. But battled that time to try to get the first down, just a little bit short. They got 3rd and I'd give it to Lorenzo after that last run. Why not?
Four minutes gone by in the second quarter. 81 Givens peeling off to the right. And it is White. And he bounds his way for the first down. Stopped by Eric McMillan.
Marv, one of the reasons this thing works is because the defensive line, can we hold it right there? The defensive line, look at, they're all inside. Every one of the guys are right sitting in the inside right here. Now, because Houston has no tight ends out here, they figure they can't run out there. But watch what Lorenzo White does. He goes left to go outside, and then they get a block by Matthews in the middle, and he cuts back in to pick up the first down.
It is a first down at midfield. One of the all-time Houston Oilers great players, Earl Campbell, who certainly heard more than his share of cheers here at the Astrodome. And Moon's pass deflected, incomplete. Intended for Jeffries. Clifton getting a piece of it. If Houston wins today, they will face the Denver Broncos at Mile High in Denver in a second-round playoff game. That will be next Saturday. And if the Jets win, they play next Sunday at Buffalo. Second down and 10 at the 50. With the departure of Chuck Noll and Sam Weish, Jack Pardee, who you saw a moment ago on the sideline, now the elder statesman among head coaches in the AFC Central. Bill Belichick in his rookie season as head man in Cleveland. Bruce Coughlin in his second year with the Jets also among the senior members. Lorenzo White has stopped back behind the line. Mercereau and Bird combined make the stop. All the head coach shuffling over the past week. Coughlin said he's upset. He's no longer the youngest head coach in the league with the hiring of 32-year-old David Shula by the Bengals. And Coughlin told us he remembers coaching Shula at the 1980 Senior Bowl when Shula was a wide receiver out of Dartmouth College.
But he's still the youngest coach in New York, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Okay, see now, Bruce, you got something to look forward to. We're talking about the other sports.
And he says the way things have been going in New York, he may soon have longevity on all the other coaches in the other sports. Third down and 11. Moon is dropped, coughed it up, but the Oilers able to cover up. Looked like Munchak, number 63, was on it. That's the first sack of the day on Moon.
Oh, Lageman just goes right around Maggs, and watch this. I mean, he just comes right around. There's Maggs. He goes right by him, and bang! Moon goes down, ball comes out. Munchak gets the ball back. Houston has to punt.
And there is Jeff Lageman, who had both sides of his head shaved by Scott Mercereau and James Hasty. Jeff said, unfortunately, several teammates remember that he had vowed to shave his head if the Jets made the playoffs. Terrence Mathis on the fair catch. It is now a ponytailed mohawk look being sported by Jeff Lageman. Penalty flag is down. 39-yard punt by Montgomery.
Let me explain something to you about Lageman when he cut his hair, because he okayed it.
Yes.
They didn't just jump up and cut his hair. He said okay. Like a legal motion by Houston, what do? Do you make him kick again, or you take the ball at the 20? I think they're going to bring it back. If it's
Mercereau and Lageman, he said no way. In fact, his daughter was petrified of them, referring to getting a first look at Mercereau and Lageman. Montgomery line drives it, and it carries out of bounds.
Well, they picked up 3 yards on the play.
8:36 remaining in the second quarter. It is a 38-yard punt by Greg Montgomery. 7. A matchup of two teams that have struggled in the second half of the season. Freeman McNeil in the backfield. Here's McNeil out across the 25-yard line, met by the free safety Bo Orlando.
One of the big questions for Houston going into this game was Lamar Lathan, number 57, and if they lose him for some reason, they're down to just 2 reserve linebackers.
Yes, Lathan bothered by a rib and a back injury, and one of the problems, according to defensive coordinator Jim Eddy, that the Oilers had last week against the Giants when Lathan went down without Childress. There was a lot of confusion in there. Here's O'Brien throwing deep downfield, and it is intercepted. Bo Orlando, who had 4 interceptions during the regular season, has picked off the pass intended for Rob Moore.
Well, this pass actually drifts towards the middle of the field. Bo Orlando is not in on the coverage. Johnson is on Moore, but watch Orlando. Look where the ball is thrown. The ball is thrown way to the inside. There was just no chance for Rod Moore to get it. We'll be back right after this.
No, Houston takes over from their 24-yard line. And Moore's pass incomplete. Houston Oilers seeing a host of 2nd and 10s. Warren Moon has not been connecting on first down. The intended receiver was Ernest Gibbons. And there is Bo Orlando, second-year player out of West Virginia, who has made great strides. Came to training camp as the number 4 man on the list of free safety candidates, and he's been a starter most of the season.
Good football player. I mean, and he plays very smart. And that time he was right there in the middle of the field where he was supposed to be. He knew that Johnson had the outside on Moore. All he had to do was take the middle.
It was a 2nd and 10 at the 24. Houston and the Jets tied at 7. We're midway through the second. On the ground, it's Lorenzo White. Lorenzo White slashing his way across the 30, brought down by R.J. Coors.
What a nice play by R.J. Coors. Now, the safeties are playing in the middle of the field. What the Jets are giving up are the outside. R.J. Coors, you're going to see him come up on the right-hand side here. Watch the play he makes. He closes on Lorenzo White, saves the first down. Terrific tackle. But if you look on the outside, what the Jets are giving up is the short stuff. Brim and Hasty, 43 and 40, are playing the corners, but they're backing off. All Moon has to do is stand up and dump it.
It is a 3rd down and 2. Gibbons in motion. Completes it to Hill for the first down on Moore. He went for 19. And that's the 4th reception of the day for Drew Hill.
Now, see, here's the situation we were talking about before. When you give Warren Moon enough time, what the Jets did that time is they double up on the outside. When they do that, they leave the middle open now. Stargell can't get back. Hill is there. Coors 25 is still too deep, and Brim finally comes up and tries to help out on the play. But the problem is Moon has enough time to watch the defenses. And what the Jets are trying to do is play a little one-on-one on the outside and cover the middle with 2 people.
Houston first down at the New York Jet 48-yard line. They have been very ineffective on first down. And that carries right through as Lorenzo White was met back behind the line by Tony Stargell.
Tony Stargell is playing like in a linebacker spot on the outside. Red run right off the bat, and made the tackle for a loss of about 2 yards. But again, that time when the Oilers put 3 receivers on one side of the field, they're almost assured on the side where there is only 1 receiver to get single coverage with Brim, especially on Brim's side.
It is a 2nd and 12 at the 50. Once again, 81, Gibbons in motion, lines up in the slot. And once again, a problem with the snap. That's the 3rd time as the flags come flying.
Ball start.
Moon pulled out.
Quarterback pulling out without the ball. Prior to the snap, 5 yards. Still 2nd down.
Matthews wasn't giving it to him. Bruce Matthews is the center, wouldn't give it to him. Moon's underneath the center. Now watch this. There's Matthews. Watch Moon. As he moves, that's it. They can come. He's late. Matthews or Moon's too soon.
What you think at this stage of the season? It is most unusual where Matthews and Moon would have so many problems.
You really do. In a game of this magnitude, you better get your signal straight because the crowd is quiet when the offense has the ball.
They did have a couple of difficult moments last week against the Giants, but nothing working in that game. 2nd down and 17, and Moon's Ernest Gibbons inside the 20.
Man, does he explode. Moon puts this ball the only place it can be caught. He's going to throw it back out here to his left. He's throwing to Ernest Gibbons. Watch the catch and then the explosion afterwards. Bang, he's down and he's moving. He's going to cut back in, starts with 45, could not make the play on the ball, but does get back in and make the tackle. But once Givens gets the ball, he's gone.
Beautiful change of pace move. That goes for 35 yards. Houston first down at the Jet 20. The game is tied at 7. And one throwing end zone. Touchdown. Givens.
Said before, if Ernest Givens gets 3 touchdown passes and they win the game, they should give him his bonus. That time, the Jets tried to double up on the outside, on the 2 outside guys, Jeffries being one of them. And it ended up with Coors, number 25, is the man trying to cover Givens coming across the middle. And that's almost impossible.
Well, the last time these clubs met, Hayward Jeffries killed the Jets. Today, it has been Ernest Givens. Second touchdown for Givens. 4 catches for 66 yards. And it's Houston 14. The Jets 7. Pass thrown by Warren Moon to Ernest Givens. Moon is now 12 for 20, 148 yards. And here's Al Del Greco kicking it off. It is Terrence Mathis taking the big hit. Scott Kozak, backup linebacker who has been excelling on special teams, making the tackle on Mathis.
Now, I told you, Marv, they were trying to double up on the outside. Now, here's a corner and a safety here. They come out this way to try to cover Jeffries. On the top side, this man and this man try to cover out here. But what happens, here's R.J. Coors and here's Givens. He's going to run right down the middle. Coors cannot stay with him. Here we go. And there it is, right in the middle of the field. It's touchdown. That was easy.
And the Jets starting out from their 18. The swing for Freeman McNeil. And he's hit out of bounds by Darrell Lewis. We've received a report from the Houston locker room. Doug Smith, who went down and then returned, we're told is being checked out. X-rays of the ribs for Smith, and as you know, Ray Childress sitting it out with a broken rib and a lower back strain. If Houston is able to advance to next week, the hope is that Childress will return. And Lamar Lathan in a there's Childress, very fragile situation, but able to hang in despite the back and rib problems. A second down and 5 from the 23. It's to the other side, and Boyer is locked. Oh, was he hit by Bubba McDowell up from strong safety? And that is short of a first down.
Bubba McDowell makes a shot on Boyer, and you know the Houston defensive back is saying, hey, you've been knocking our people around, now it's our turn. Boyer catches, then he catches Bubba McDowell, and down he goes. It'll be 3rd and about 2. You know, O.J. brought an interesting point up on NFL Live, the fact that Childress, in the 4 games that he has missed for the Houston Oilers, they have lost all 4.
Just under 3 minutes remaining in the first half. Here's the 3rd down play. O'Brien. Lee Williams, who has replaced Ray Childress at the inside left defensive tackle position, coming up with the sack.
Marv, you know what really happens here? It's absolutely incredible. We cannot see on the outside, but look behind O'Brien. There are no backs back here. And once the Oilers see that, then they're going to start sending everybody up the field because they know it's got to be pass. And when that happens, 97 Lee Williams is there. Watch this. There's no place for O'Brien to throw the ball. The defensive secondary adjusted, and that is a defensive secondary sack. Marcus Robertson, number 31, was the safety that blitzed along with Lee Williams. They didn't have enough people to pick up the people that were blitzing, and O'Brien had no place to throw the football. Williams got there.
And Houston has called a timeout. You see Lee Williams back from a broken arm injury. He's back after missing 6 weeks. And defensive coordinator Jim Eddy telling us that Lee Williams, playing with the cast, has to make adjustments and moving to the inside as opposed to what would take place if he were outside.
He cannot turn his arm. He can put his arm straight out, He can reach out, but as Jim Eddy says, there's no torque in his arm, so he can't turn it right and left.
Yes, affected more severely when he plays inside. Aguiar from his 5, setting a high pop-up. And a fair catch handled by Coleman, but a flag thrown. It's a 42-yard punt.
Actually, what happens is they're going to get called
as they start out from the Jets' 45-yard line. Here's the screen for White. And Lorenzo White dancing his way inside the 40, stopped by R.J. Coors. We're down to 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the first half. An 8-yard advance by White. The Oilers with a 14-7 lead on touchdown passes from Moon to Gibbons. 1 for 5 and 1 for 20 yards. The Jets score. O'Brien on a 10-yard touchdown pass to Toon.
Hurry up, they're trying to get one more play before the 2 minutes. They got it off.
And Moon goes to sideline, and that stops the clock, although we get the 2-minute warning. Drew Hill on the reception for the first down. It goes for 12 with 1 minute and 55 to go in this second quarter.
And Dennis Byrd takes a shot at Moon on the way down. You see Moon back to pass. He's going to get the ball to Hill. Here comes number 90, Byrd. He's in motion. That's a good play by Byrd.
2-minute warning. We'll be right back. Cosley very upset with the field judge, Pat Millett. Obviously, that in reaction to the call against Eric McMillan.
It's a bad call. It really was.
And a first down from the 26. And Moon's pass is caught by Duncan. And that is a short pickup, covered up by Mike Brim.
That's one of those passes, if you wish someone can yell at him, don't catch the ball, because it stops the clock. If you don't catch it, they only picked up a yard on the play, but they want to catch everything. 2 yards.
Minute and a half remaining in this first half. And Houston with a 14-7 lead on the Jets.
His movement again, and there's Mr.
13 at the 29. And Moon's pass is dropped. Ash Gibbons could not hold on. Lonnie Young on the cover. That's the first drop we've seen today. Among many problems the Oilers had last week against the Giants, a host of drop passes.
Now this time Gibbons goes down and he hooks up. Lonnie Young is there. The ball hits him right in the hands. Running before you have control of the ball. He's upset with himself. That ball was perfect. But they are in field goal range.
Ernest Gibbons, you'll notice, still wearing that plexiglass visor. There's Al Del Greco, who had a good one in the win last week at Giant Stadium. Ernest Gibbons wearing the plexiglass visor protecting the broken nose, which may require more surgery following the season. Whoa, and that one through the hands of Duncan, who took the hit after he missed the catch.
That ball almost knocked him out. I mean, Moon read blitz right now and fired at Curtis Duncan, and it just looked like he wasn't prepared to catch it, because that thing just ricocheted off his shoulder.
And this will be a 46-yard attempt for Al Del Greco. One-time Packer, one-time Cardinal. He's 10 for 13 for the season. He had a 52-yarder earlier this season. And this one, no good. Off to the right. So with 1:10 remaining in the second quarter, the Jets will take over. Trailing the national title in 9 years, go up against Nebraska. Al Toon on a 16-yard hookup. And Chris Dishman made the stop with 1:04 remaining in the half.
Now the Jets have 1:04 in what I got to believe that Bruce Cousins said to Kenny O'Brien, look, let's get down. We want to try and score. Get at least 3 on the board. But let's not make a mistake, because we are going to get the ball back in the second half. We receive.
First down at the 45. with a short-range pump to Freeman McNeil, who was immediately hit down by a couple of Oilers led by Lamar Lathan.
The Jets have 3 timeouts and are running a hurry up at second down. See, I'd take one of the timeouts.
2nd and 2. Now take it. Yes, that is a first down. Mathis on the catch, stopped by Robertson. And now the timeout is taken with 36 seconds to go in the half. To complete to McNeil on a short pickup. And the clock is now stopped with 29 seconds to go. Ken O'Brien showing stats of 11 for 14, but really has not been able to get much going. The statistics, including a touchdown and an interception, but the Jets with only 7 points to show with 29 seconds remaining in the half.
See, here's the situation, too, that the middle of the field usually opens up because they want you to throw it in there and force you to take a timeout. It's wide open in the middle.
O'Brien going deep for Toon. Dishman and Orlando on the coverage of Al Toon.
And Marv, that time the middle of the field was wide open. There is a flag on the play.
5 action. There it is. O'Brien to the middle of the field. And it's caught at the 16. A 20-yard pass play. Al Toon on the reception. Stopped by Chris Dishman. That's 4 catches for Toon. And now the timeout taken with 14 seconds left. The Jets have 1 timeout remaining. Houston with 2 left.
And when you look at the middle of the field, they ask you to go into the middle of the field. Here you are back in here. And this is where Toon's going to end up with the ball. He's going to end up actually back down in the 15, down further. But when you watch it, watch this whole thing open up. There it is. It's wide open. All you see is green in here. Hold on a second, boys, because this is going to be right in here is where Toon's going to end up with the ball. Watch this. Nobody there. Nobody there. Oh, this is the long ball to Toon, the play before. But that was Mathis coming across, was wide open. But the next play, exactly the same thing happened. But that time, Toon comes across the middle.
14 seconds remaining in the half. The Jets first down at the Houston 16. Houston up by a touchdown. O'Brien off the roll. Throws, and it's broken up. Bubba McDowell on the coverage. Rob Moore, the intended receiver.
All right, Rob Moore is going to come all the way across the field. Johnson releases him to Bubba McDowell. Bubba McDowell's got him all the way across. Here's the throw. Bubba McDowell makes an excellent play on the ball. Now the Jets will try a field goal.
And Raul Alegre will attempt from 33 yards out. 3 for 4 in his Jet debut last week in the overtime victory in Miami. Aguilar puts it down, and Alegre's kick is good. With 4 seconds remaining in the first half, the Oilers now, and it is handled by Glenn Montgomery, who's covering up with 1 second remaining. And at this point,
Oh, sure, just knees. Out of here.
And that's the end of the first half here at the Astrodome in Houston. It's the Oilers 14 and the Jets 10 in this AFC wild card matchup. A couple of touchdown passes thrown by Moon, one by O'Brien, and a 33-yard field goal. Brown backing up and runs it out. Good return by A.B. Brown with Bo Orlando making the tackle. So the Jet offense back on the field. They have Jeff Criswell and Irv Eatman at the tackles. Dave Cadigan, Dwayne White at the guards. And the center is Jim Sweeney.
And the running back is Johnny Hector. So he's all right.
Johnny Hector had the 132-yard day last week against Miami. And thus far, 5 carries for 26 yards. Hector across the 25, met by Jeff Alm, who has filled in for the injured Doug Smith.
And one of the things that the Jets are doing when on first down, that time they ran the ball, but they are lining up with 3 tight ends. They're lining up with Kelly, Dressel, Boyer. Now, Dressel, Boyer, and Kelly came out. Brad Baxter is in the backfield. Now they're going with their normal set.
It's a 2nd down and 7. And Hector is hit down. Johnny Hector, a 9-year pro out of Texas A&M, stopped by the outside linebacker, Johnny Meads.
The only other thing, Mark, when you wonder why they're not running the ball effectively is because the Houston Oilers are jamming everything up. They are forcing the Jets to throw the football.
The winner here today moves on to the divisional playoff next week. If the Jets win, they'll play in Buffalo on Sunday. A Houston victory, they'll play in Denver in a 2nd-round playoff game next Saturday. And O'Brien able to complete. Rob Moore, who has been quiet, goes for 23. That is only his 2nd catch of the day. Stopped by Marcus Robertson.
We talked about Warren Moon having time to throw the ball. This time, Ken O'Brien has time to throw the ball, and he just waits. Moore hooks up to the inside, just a short pass, and then picks up an additional 12 yards after the catch. Super.
Rob Moore, out of Syracuse, had 70 receptions during the regular season. It is a 1st down at the 49. Back to the ground. Freeman McNeil stopped by Johnny Meads. Picked up 3. It'll be a 2nd down and 7 at the 46.
All right, here come the Jets again. Now they're going back to their 3 tight end set with Boyer, Dressel, and Kelly, and 1 running back, which is Johnny Hector. And Freeman McNeil did not want to come out of the game, but he is out. And they're saying, we're running.
And Hector is back in. And here's Hector. Found some daylight, but he's short of the 1st down. Latham and Smith combining to make the stop. So Freeman McNeil and Johnny Hector getting the call once again this week. Blair Thomas sitting out with a sprained ankle, inactive today. He finished the season in disappointing fashion, has not run well in recent weeks. Also had some fumble problems. There is the thought, though, he has played hurt for a good portion of the year. It's a 3rd down and 3. And O'Brien completes for the 1st down to Toon. Dishman makes the stop. That's 5 catches for 57 yards for Al Toon.
Now here's another situation again. Well, they took Freeman McNeil and they brought him out of the backfield, which left Ken O'Brien all by himself, so that the Houston Oilers know now that he's going to throw the ball. Here go the Oilers with a blitz, but the offensive line picked up everyone, which meant man-to-man downfield. Dishman couldn't cover Toon. They have 1st down inside the 45, or inside the 35.
And the word on Doug Smith, X-rays on the ribs proved negative, but he probably will not return. Acceleration by Hector. He reaches inside the 30, stopped by Latham. It'll be a 2nd down and 4. The ball is spotted at the 29-yard line. The New York Jets had a regular season record of 8 up and 8 down, making it into the playoffs by beating Miami in overtime. They opened up the season at 1-3. That included tough losses to Buffalo and Chicago. Then they beat Miami and Cleveland, lost to Houston, bounced back to go 7-5, but the roller coaster continued. They lost 3 straight and then won last week to make it in as a wild card. Nice catch for the 1st down by Moore in front of Dishman.
Nice catch. You bet. It really was. Watch Rob Moore now. He's being covered one-on-one by Dishman. The ball's thrown to this outside. Concentration up. Get the football down. First down. Beautiful.
Paul, in recapping this Jets season, and they did turn it from last year's record of 6-10. The rap against the Jets, none of their wins coming against quality teams, and they also lost at home to Indianapolis. But they're trailing here only 14-10, and they are on the doorstep. Off the swing, Tune puts some moves on and gets inside the 10. Richard Johnson making the stop, and that is close to the first down. Perhaps they picked it up.
And Tune's slow getting up. He's limping. They did this in the first half. Same side of the field. Tune on Johnson. And they throw the ball to the outside, and watch what happens. It's very quick. Bang to Tune. Now he works on Johnson. Move. He goes back to the inside, beats Johnson, but then gets tackled by Bo Orlando and by Lathan, number 57.
And the Jets did pick up the first down. The 10th play of the drive coming up. Al Tune being checked out. He's been a very important man in the Jet offense today. 6 catches, 66 yards. You saw Chris Burkett check in.
All right, here comes Tune. Now he gets by Johnson here. Bo Orlando comes in. Lamar Lathan, number 57, comes in, and they fall on his ankle, and but he's up and he's walking, and that's good news for the Jets.
However, Burkett replaces Tune. Burkett is back from a sprained right knee. He has had an excellent all-around season. In fact, the players last week voted him as the team's most valuable player. It's a first and goal at the 8. Back to the ground. Brad Baxter. Stopped by Jeff Ahm and Al Smith.
And this is a superb drive for the Jets. They took the opening kickoff in the second half, and they're moving down the field. They've had the ball for 6.5 minutes so far. They're running the ball, passing the ball. And inside the 10, they're at the 6-yard line. Second and goal.
Now Moore is to the left. And Burkett to the right. Freeman McNeil in the backfield. Here's McNeil. Trying to cut in, and he took a wallop from Lamar Lathan.
You know, here's a play. Lamar Lathan makes the play, but the guy that's really responsible for it is Sean Jones, number 96. He forces Freeman McNeil to take it deeper than he wanted to take it and enable the defense to get to it. Take a look on the right of the screen. 96 is Sean Jones. Watch what he does. He doesn't make the tackle here, Marv, but he forced Freeman McNeil back to the 11-yard line, enabled the defense, Al Smith, Lamar Lathan, Bubba McDowell, to get there and stop the play for a yard loss.
Al Tune has returned.
So is the crowd.
Third and goal from the 7. O'Brien can't find anyone, and now throws. It is intercepted. Bubba McDowell able to pick it off. The pass intended for Mark Boyer. Ken O'Brien has been criticized in the past for the inopportune interceptions. We've seen this in several games this season, and you know he'd like to have this one back.
Makes a good move to get outside, but don't throw this ball. There's no reason to throw it. Look where he throws the ball. He sees Boyer. You got to see the whole defense. McDowell has the ball. They're going to review it. I can tell you that right now.
8 minutes 2 seconds, and then Ken O'Brien is picked off, and we thought they were taking a look at that interception, but Lorenzo White able to rip off 11 yards for a first down, but either they looked at it, and well, no, there was no announcement, so apparently they did not review it.
All right, let's review it. I don't think it's an interception. Watch this. Now watch his right shoulder, Bubba McDowell. Watch where the ball is. It's on the ground. Over his right shoulder. There's the ball hitting the ground. Now he pulls it back up.
I don't think you can tell if it hit the ground. Can you tell depth
The ball
perception?
is outside of his shoulder. Look at it.
I still don't think you can tell if it hit the ground there.
Well, they obviously couldn't.
Yes. Maybe we'll get another look at it. I don't think you can tell the depth on that replay. Here's White running well. Lageman made the stop.
The team that's not supposed to be running the ball is running the ball, and the team that's supposed to run the ball is not running the ball, and that's the Jets.
White
is running in with White.
11 carries, 47 yards for Lorenzo White. It is a 2nd down and 4 at the 21. Apparently, if they did look at it, it was inconclusive from the replay because you cannot tell from that shot whether the ball hit the ground. You can't, that's the one thing you can't tell depth perception on the replay. And a 1st down off the catch by Drew Hill.
The old inconclusive. This is, you know, to come out of this end like this on 2 running plays by Houston, Lorenzo White, and then come back out with a pass play. This is 1st downs, 1 and 2. They're at the almost at the 30-yard line. You take a drive like this, and if they can consume the over 5 minutes to go in this 3rd quarter, go down and score a touchdown, not a field goal, but a touchdown, could break the Jets back.
All right, Duncan to the right. Jeffries, who has been very quiet, to the left. That's Hill, 85, in motion. 1st down at the 30 with just under 5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. White out to the 34, and some extracurricular activity featuring Bruce Mathis of Houston, Jeff Lageman involved. Jeff Lageman had a misunderstanding in that earlier meeting with the Oilers, as he and Warren Moon had some words, but both say that incident, past history, they apologize to each other.
It's always forgotten when the game's over. I mean, they'll be playing in an awful lot of golf tournaments together. Does Jeff play? No, Jeff plays racquetball with whomever he wants to. He just says, you want to play racquetball with me, don't you?
Well, he told us that's what helped him get into better shape for this season. 2nd down and 6 from the 34. It is a Houston 1st down. Kyle Clifton with the tackle on Ernest Givens.
Ernest Givens picks up 7 more yards from the explosion after catching the ball. Now, when Givens 681 comes across, watch this. He's at the 40, right? Turns back. He explodes back up. And now he's at the 46-yard line. I mean, it's incredible.
Ernest Givens made it to the Pro Bowl last year for the first time. Did not make it this year. One of several Oilers who was upset about not making it. But 8 Oilers made the squad, 6 starters. And I think what happens is Moon fires one to the right and completes again to Givens. I think there are some players around the league, again, words with Givens involved, during the voting for the Pro Bowl, do not necessarily accept all the receptions of the Houston receivers. I think they feel that guys catching the ball is almost like a running play, and you're going to have high numbers, although certainly Jeffries made it with 100 catches. But look at the story today, and they feel that there has to be a cutoff line. You can't put all these receivers in the Pro Bowl just because they have big numbers.
That's true, and I agree that they can't. Jeffries, you know, with 100, deserved it.
And Moon is rocked. He's taken down. Gang tackle, big hits by Mo Lewis.
I mean, they had a lot of people. Stargell was in the backfield. Lonnie Young was in the backfield, and then the linebackers came. I can't believe that Moon held on to this football. Watch this. 45 is Stargell. He's the first guy there. He gets a piece. There's Mo Lewis. Here comes Lonnie Young. Here comes Lageman. And Moon holds on to this football. That's incredible.
2nd sack of the day by the Jets. This Houston drive, the result of the interception by McDowell. Ken O'Brien firing one. And a pass play that certainly will be criticized. Shades of the pass he threw in the Buffalo game back on the 1st of December at Giants Stadium. Here's White. And White running brilliantly, has a first down.
Eric McMillan is the one guy that had the shot at him to keep him from getting the first down. And Lorenzo White made a move to get by him. Watch this. The screen is to the outside. Kyle Clifton goes out. Monchek blocks him. Lorenzo White. Now watch this. Here comes 22. Eric McMillan. Bang. He ducks his head. Try to throw a shoulder in instead of wrapping his arms around him. Lorenzo White goes by, picks up the first down.
17-yard advance. It's a first down at the Jet. 43, minute 10 to go in the third. And the Oilers lead the Jets 14-10. Moon just did get it away. Drew Hill gaining some additional yardage, met by the strong safety, Brian Washington.
What the blitz is doing, it is keeping the Houston Oilers from throwing the ball downfield. The Jets are sending not only linemen, but also linebackers, and once in a while, as we saw before, Stargell, number 45, who is a safety, lining up on the inside and blitzing. Moon cannot get the ball downfield for the big one, but the short guys are open because it's one-on-one coverage.
10th play of this drive. Second down and 7 from the 40. Sideline pass and has a first down. Curtis Duncan in his 5th year out of Northwestern. He is the best blocker among Houston's receivers. Stopped by Mike Brim, but has the first down at the 32 as this third quarter comes to a close. It's the Oilers with in trouble, and he is thrown down by Mo Lewis, who has had an outstanding day. He's a third-round draft pick, a rookie from Georgia. He made his mark early in the season, named a starter in preseason, and has come on very strong.
Again, I'm talking about the linebackers are blitzing. Now look at Maggs is on the outside, 78. He goes to the inside. Moon tries to get back to the outside. Don't be surprised now to see Moon line up in the shotgun situation. And then instead of trying to move to the outside where they're blitzing and going into the blitzes, step up and still have a chance to look at the entire field.
Third sack of the day, and the Jets certainly applying the pressure.
And they're sending a lot of people.
It's a second down and 22 back at the 44. Some movement, flags thrown, and Moon takes another hard hit. The pass intended for Lorenzo White.
And this was a free one, and I think Moon knew it. That's where you just throw the ball down the middle of the field, but he didn't have time to do that. The defensive line is coming. They're not looking at any run responsibility at all. They're just going after Moon.
Offsides. Number 56 defense.
Lageman.
5 yards. Still second down.
It is Jeff Lageman called on the offside.
Lageman comes across, and after he's been offside, now the shot to Moon. I mean, now you know why he didn't go downfield with it. Moon's tough.
You know, the second half to this point, no pass has touched the ground. O'Brien 4 out of 5 and intercepted once. Moon 6 for 6 on this drive. It's a second down and 17. It is deflected, and there is the first incompletion of the half for Moon. Bird got a piece of it.
Well, there's a dangerous ball. That ball's hit up in the air, and most of the guys can't find it. You watch. Here the blitz is on. Kyle Clifton comes in. Number 90 is Bird. Washington, 97, is the man that tips the ball up in the air, but the ball goes into the middle of the field, and people are flying, but they can't see the ball. On the left of the screen, the ball goes up here, and you can watch the defensive guys. Now, they know the ball's in the air, but where is it? You can't find it. Just drops harmlessly in the middle of the field.
It's a third down and 17. Opening minute in the fourth quarter. This time Moon gets the protection, and that is short of the first down. Drew Hill stopped by the left corner, Mike Brim.
That time the Jets only send 4 people. Lageman, number 56, being one of them. Maggs pushes him to the inside. Comes back and gets him again. Comes back and gets him again. He's trying to stay with him. They're going to try this field goal.
Yes, a 52-yarder.
Well, now.
Al Del Greco. Now make it 53. Who has been splendid since coming on for Ian Howfield, connects from 53 yards away.
And there was no doubt about this either, Marv. It goes right.
Well, a career-high 53-yard field goal by Al Del Greco, and then he pumps the deep kickoff, not allowing the return. So Al Del Greco hears it from the crowd. He's given the Oilers a 17-10 lead. Jets take over at their 20. Look to be some confusion. And O'Brien slides to the 29, and a flag has been thrown.
Gets Darrell Lewis, number 29. After O'Brien is on the ground, then Lewis drilled him with his helmet. And that'll be 15 more. Heads up play by O'Brien. It was a busted play. He just saw the middle and just took off up the middle with the ball.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness, number 29, hitting the quarterback after he's down. 15 yards, first down.
O'Brien, see, it's heads up right now, and he heads on down the field. He slides. Once he does that, get out of there. But the problem is Darrell Lewis hits him with his helmet in O'Brien's helmet, and that's what they call.
Darrell Lewis, second-round draft pick out of Arizona. He's been primarily a nickel back, still in the learning process, but has been getting the playing time. And in recent weeks, it's a first down for the Jets from their 43. That was diagnosed by the Houston front line as McNeil was stopped. Freeman McNeil having some words with Jeff Arm.
I watched Bubba McDowell, number 25. He was sneaking up on the line of scrimmage like nobody. You can't see me. Watch down at the bottom of the screen. Look at him. He's sneaking down. Now he's coming upfield. But that's Bo Orlando on the other side, and they just sent two safeties on a blitz.
Second down and 13. The Jets from their 40. Ken O'Brien, 16 for 21, 140 yards, one touchdown, and intercepted twice. Now McNeil lines up on the wing to the right. It is Al Toon. But short of the first down, the middle linebacker Al Smith made the stop. 7 catches for 74 yards for Toon.
And Ken O'Brien just gets this ball away to Toon because Sean Jones was right there to make the play.
Chris Coslett telling us that up until last year, Ken O'Brien was the most hit quarterback in the history of the National Football League. And they have...
That's because he had no outlet people. He had a primary target, and that was all.
They've certainly cut down on the sacks. It's a third down and 6. Sideline pattern. Oh, nice catch. Good hands by Freeman McNeil. As he lands at the marker, followed out by the right corner, Richard Johnson. It's a Jet first down.
Heads up play by Freeman McNeil. He's drifting out, and he is not the man. But what happens is, on the left-hand side of the screen, O'Brien puts the ball out, and Freeman McNeil makes an adjustment. Watch this. Adjusts to the ball, makes the catch, stays in bounds, and gets the first down. Heads up.
It is a first down at the Houston 43. Freeman McNeil's illustrious NFL career goes all the way back to 1983 when the Jets were one game away from the Super Bowl but lost to Miami. Play action. Beautiful fake. And O'Brien with the easy toss to Ron Moore. He had had the entire Houston defense baffled.
Nobody put any heat on him. Again, you know, we talked again in the beginning of this game. If Moon has all day to throw the ball, he's going to find an open man. O'Brien's no different. He runs a play-action pass that time, and look at the time he has. There isn't a guy within 5 yards of O'Brien. Rob Moore finally gets open. You cannot cover anybody that long. There were only 2 receivers deep. Toom was one, and Moore was the other, and now they're down at about the 12-yard line, 13.
Ken O'Brien, one of the masters of the play action. The end result, 31-yard advance. And here is Baxter inside the 10. When you talk about effective play-action quarterbacks, you start with Boomer Esiason, who Bruce Coslet had in Cincinnati as the offensive coordinator. Steve DeBerg certainly excels at it. Ken O'Brien has to be among the top in that department.
There's no question about it. In that time, and you were absolutely right, Marv, it just froze the entire defense. And you're caught into an area where, do I rush him now, or do I try to drop back and just see what I can do to help out, pick up any stragglers, a back coming out of the backfield, and Moore finally got open.
It's a 2nd down and 6 at the 8. Jets are down by a touchdown. Baxter. Jeff made the stop on Brad Baxter.
Now the Jets can get a first down inside the 3-yard line. And if they're inside the 3, they've got first down. They're going to measure this one because it's close enough.
3rd and 6. Baxter. And we'll have to wait for them to unravel. Montgomery, Smith making the stop. They tried to stack him up. The Oiler players trying to give the impression that they kept him away from the tight end. 87 Burkett in motion. Here's Freeman McNeil.
I don't know. I don't think he made it. He did not make it. Where the referees are pointing, he's going to be at about the same spot he was before. They're going to miss it by about a half a yard.
Sean Jones and Al Smith plugging the hole. And Houston will take over.
They ran 2 plays straight ahead to get 9 3/4 yards. Now watch this play. They got Freeman McNeil. When he goes up in the air, watch what happens. Here they come. And that is Bo Orlando, number 26, that met him at the top. No first down. Houston's ball.
Houston takes over, and Lorenzo White spins his way 3 yardage. Kyle Clifton made the stop. So once again, the Oilers taking over on their own 3-yard line.
What happens when Freeman McNeil goes up? There's nobody to block for him. They stuffed it.
It's a 2nd and 5 from the 8. 85 Hill in motion. Moon's pass is caught by Jeffries, and then he is pushed back. That's only his 2nd catch. Took the hit from James Hasty.
First down.
He did pick it up.
You know, who was it that told us a long time? We've done so many Houston games and so many Jet games, but someone told us a long time ago that the Houston Oilers offense, they're always in 3rd and 7. And it's true. They're going to throw the ball at you. Be prepared, no matter what the score is.
That was the announcement, the assessment of Bernie Kosar.
Yeah.
And there is the offensive coordinator, Kevin Gilbride, looking at a 1st and 10 from the 15. Just under 7 minutes remaining. In the 4th quarter, Houston leads by a touchdown. And the catch is made by Duncan. Covered by Washington. 4 receptions for Curtis Duncan.
And on that last play, the Jets sent Stargell, Tony Stargell, number 45, defensive back, in on a blitz and almost got a piece of the ball. How Moon got it by him, it's just hard to believe. But the ball gets to the outside. Duncan catches it. 2nd and 2.
And Moon in the 2nd half has connected on 9 of 10.
And this is a tired defense. I mean, they've been coming at Moon, at defensive line and linebackers, all day long.
waits for the first down. Drew Hill. Let's see what he's going. No, they're not giving him the
they're going to give him the mark. They have to give him the mark because Hill was beyond the first down marker. They're going to give it to him almost at the 32-yard line. I know Stargell was there, but he stopped his forward progress, he being Drew Hill. Once that happens, you can't drive the guy back and then knock him out of bounds and say, okay, that's where the ball is.
And that is exactly what they're discussing. I thought he had it, and then he was driven back.
I said 32, I meant 27-yard line where the first down is. Now watch this. Here is the ball. This is beyond the first down marker there. Now, if they give it to him at the 27, that's still too far. It should be between the 25 and the 26-yard line. But not there. I mean, that's a little too far at the 27, but almost to the 26, which would give him the first down, is where the ball should be marked. Not back at the 24-yard line.
Forward progress has been ruled to have stopped at the 27-yard line. It's a first down.
There is a better angle. This is back after he catches the ball, but the other angle that we showed you the first time was the one where he is just across the 25-yard line. Would have been the first down anyway.
So it is a first down for Houston. And it is spotted at the 27. 6 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Houston with a 17-10 lead in this AFC wild card game. And Moon throws up top for Duncan.
At the end of this play, Duncan, the only person he saw was Eric McMillan. He did not see the ball. Watch his eyes. As he's coming down, the ball's in the air. Watch him look to his left. He's going to see McMillan. Look, there's the ball in the air. See McMillan? Bang. He ducked his head, got out of the way. He knew he couldn't catch it.
Mike Brim was step for step with Curtis Duncan, and then McMillan came over. Second down and 10 at the 27. At one point, this Houston club 7-1. The one loss over that stretch at New England. Then beaten in overtime in Washington. Came back to beat Dallas and Cleveland. And then faltered with those losses to Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. Beat the Steelers to win the division. Squeaked by Cleveland and then lost last week to the Giants. And that is short of the first down. Leonard Harris with his first catch of the day, stopped by Brian Washington. Leonard Harris in his 6th year out of Texas Tech, out earlier in the year after breaking a bone above his knee. Another one of the small Oiler receivers, goes at 5'8", 162 pounds.
Boone has no favorites. Add his name to that list of catches. Whoever's out there, he's going to throw the ball to it. The one guy that we didn't have, I think, and that's Lorenzo White, had a couple of catches. There's Boone.
Warren Moon with a very impressive second half. As a third down and 3 at the 34. Houston in control once again, and Boone is taken down.
Did he fumble the ball? They say fumble. The Jets have the ball.
A big play by the Jets. Tony Stargell able to cover up as the Jets come up with their 4th sack of the day.
Pete Carroll said Stargell has a very important role in the game tomorrow. That was yesterday. Stargell comes up, but on the backside, it's Lonnie Young is the man that makes the hit. Stargell gets the ball. That's 2 safeties coming on the blitz. Moon didn't read it. From the backside, there it is. Good hit by Lonnie Young. It's Jets ball at the 26.
When you
Hector with a short pickup, stopped by the strong safety Bubba McDowell. Paul, you look at the last 2 Jet drives. They go 12 plays, stopped at the 3 on the interception of Ken O'Brien. Then they go 9 plays, and they had to turn it over on downs at the 3-yard line because Freeman McNeil was stopped on 4th down.
Can you ever remember a game, Marv, where safeties made as many tackles as these guys have at the line of scrimmage or in the backfield? Both teams are blitzing safeties.
Yes, an active day for McDowell and Orlando of Houston. Washington, McMillan, and Young also involved. 2nd down and 7 off the pitch. Tripped up.
Johnny Meads.
William Fuller, Johnny Meads combining. There is Fuller, who has had a terrific season, making it to the Pro Bowl. 15 sacks, the best season of his career, leading the AFC in that department, 2nd overall in the NFL.
Johnny Hector come limping off again.
It is a 3rd down and 6 at the 22. O'Brien going sideline, incomplete, intended for Moore. Covered by Johnson.
I'm going to tell you something. Mr. Rob Moore just about made one of the great catches. If that ball was about 6 inches shorter, look at this. Look where he knows where he is. Watch this. Stretching. I mean, that is beautiful. Doesn't make the catch, but what a great effort.
It is a 4th and 6 from the 22.
Oh, they have to go. I mean, a field goal means nothing to them.
Field goal would be from 39 yards away. They're trailing by 7 with 3.5 remaining in the 4th. And O'Brien after the pump, incomplete. Al Toon claims he was interfered with, but no flag. He was covered by Chris Dishman.
Chris Dishman did a great job. Darrell Lewis just hits Mathis, 81, coming off the line of scrimmage. He can't get downfield. And then O'Brien throws the ball to the outside. They were looking for a flag, didn't get it. In the slot is Al Toon. Covered man-to-man by Chris Dishman, 28. Watch this. Now, I can tell you right now, that's holding. That is holding by Dishman. Toon, you're right. The call could have been made, but was not.
However, it will be Houston ball.
I knew you were going to say, however. I just knew it.
It is a 1st and 10 as the Oilers take over at their 22. They lead it by 7. And Moon to work with Jeffries. Nice second effort by Hayward Jeffries, working on the corner. James Hasty. And has a 1st down.
For those of you who have never seen the Houston Oilers before, and you're wondering, with 3 minutes and 18 seconds to go in the ball game, they have a 7-point lead. They get the ball back after downs, and they throw a pass on 1st down. This is their offense. This is what they do.
However, in the 1st half, they were not successful on 1st down plays. A different story here in the 2nd half. Moon overall 12 for 14 in the 2nd half. Nice adjustment. Jeffries came back to make the catch.
And James Hasty, you can't play it any better, James. I mean, you're out there and you're on an island. You're one-on-one with Jeffries. Watch this. This is super coverage. Jeffries makes the adjustment. Bang. Hasty is there. There's not much more you can do.
So Jeffries with his 4th catch of the day. 2:36 to go in the 4th. If the Oilers are able to advance by beating the Jets here today and facing the Broncos in Denver, it is expected that man, Ray Childress, will be able to return. 2nd down and 3 at the 40-yard line with 2:36 remaining in this 4th quarter. That last time out taken by the Jets. And White is stopped by Lonnie Young.
Yeah, you know, again, both teams are blitzing safeties. Lonnie Young has had a tremendous game. Tony Stargell has had a tremendous game. On the other side of the coin, Bubba McDowell, Bo Orlando, they're running safety blitzes. I think what Houston did, they saw New York doing it. It worked. So why not us? Let's make an adjustment. I think Jim Eddy made the adjustment and started sending his safeties. It's worked very well. 2:31. The Jets are down to 1 timeout.
And a reminder, next Saturday here on NBC, the AFC divisional playoffs will get underway, and we'll be in Denver with the Denver Broncos going up against either the Kansas City Chiefs or the Houston Oilers, preceded by NFL Live with Bob, Will, Bill, and OJ starting at 3:30 Eastern Time. And then on Sunday, the other berth for the AFC Championship will be decided in Buffalo. Coverage beginning at 12 noon Eastern Time with NFL Live. 3rd down and 4. And Moon running for the first down. Enormous play with the Jets down to 1 timeout remaining. Plus they'll get the timeout with the 2-minute warning. And
Paul Freys was just absolutely livid and upset with himself. Number 91 in the middle of the screen. Watch this. He's there. He has a chance at Moon, and he misses him right there. And he just bangs on the ground. He is totally upset. Warren Moon.
61,485 turning out, although this one was touch and go in terms of the game selling out. Did not sell out until Friday. And the Oiler fans very supportive of their home club, looking to make it 8 out of 9 victories in the W column at the Dome, and looking to advance to face the Denver Broncos at Mile High in Denver in a second-round playoff game next Saturday. Jets using their final timeout. It'll be a 1st and 10 at the 46 for Houston. We're down at 2:18 remaining in the 4th.
This has been an excellent football game, Marv. Both of these teams, if they had to answer any questions coming out and playing in this game, I think they've answered them all. Defensively, I don't know if I've seen hitting like this in a long time. I mean, as good as this in a long time. The Jets have thrown everything that they could possibly throw at Warren Moon. They've got him, they've hurried him, they've sacked him, they've intercepted him.
And it comes down to 2 key plays in which the Jets were stopped. The interception by O'Brien down at the 3, and Freeman McNeil was stopped at the other end of the field down at the 3 on 4th down as he was gunning for 1st down. Spinning move by White, and a beauty as he gets out to midfield, and we approach the 2-minute warning. Eric McMillan made the stop on Lorenzo White, who's come up with a very strong performance in his first start of the season. 15 carries and 60 yards for White. We'll be back in a moment. Years, unless there is a remarkable mistake made by the Oilers right here with no timeouts remaining. The Jets headed home, and Houston on its way to Denver to face the Broncos.
Didn't Kevin Gilbride, the offensive coordinator for Houston, say that the guys were a little upset about playing in this game in Houston because they thought they were only going to get...
I have the idea that Lorenzo White forgot what the circumstances are.
Well, now you got to pick up the 1st down. Otherwise, you're going to have to kick the ball away to the Jets.
I said unless there is an amazing mistake.
Well, we might have just seen it.
It's a 3rd down and 2, and
he didn't get
White is stopped. Stopped by Marvin Washington. Clock is running.
And you have to punt the football. You cannot take a chance on going on 4th down. They're going to run the clock down at 45 seconds off the clock, which will take it down to about 1 minute and 3 seconds. And then they're going to have to punt the football. Now the Jets load it up and come on after. You said it. All they had to do was take a knee. They had 2 minutes to go. The Jets with no timeouts. Moon comes out, takes a knee. 45 seconds goes off the clock. Take a knee again. It goes again. That's 1.5 minutes. Am I missing something?
Do you believe that Lorenzo White ran out of bounds?
I don't believe they ran a play. That's what I'm talking about. Moon should have gotten the ball and taken a knee. Don't even run a play, especially a wide play. Well, I don't think that was designed to go wide.
Greg Montgomery will punt for only the 2nd time today. Terrence Mathis back at the 10 with 1.2 minutes remaining.
Boy, wouldn't you love to see a fake punt? No, I'm only teasing.
Paul, you are in dream world.
Oh, man. See, there's another reason why I'm not in coaching, you know. Here come the Jets. They don't have anybody back.
They've pulled Mathis.
They are coming. And Houston should move their wide guys in.
All right, here they come. And he gets it off. And it pops to the end zone, so the Jets will have a desperation drive that will start out from the 20. That will go as a 50-yard punt. He was trying to angle it out, but it carried through the end zone.
Well, I'm going to tell you what. All he had in his mind, Montgomery, is get the ball off. Don't get it blocked. There's Lorenzo White thinking, oh, man, this will be over. I could be in the locker room right now. Here is the play. Instead of cutting it back up, let Hasty take it down. Go down. But he ends up, now at the end, he sees the sideline and he tries to stop. It's too late. They took him out of bounds. Here they go. The Jets have new life.
Clock is running. Down to 50 seconds. And O'Brien throws downfield, and he is able to complete to Al Toon. And he got out of bounds to stop the clock with 46 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. 17-10 Houston. Toon with his 8th catch. That goes for 22 yards. The ball is placed at the Jet 42.
Jets, take your time. The clock is stopped. He went out of bounds. You don't have to hurry.
And here's O'Brien stepping up. Has Boyer, but he's in the middle of the field.
That you didn't want to do.
And they're holding Boyer down.
Well, here's where the official can call a timeout. He can stop the clock from holding him down. They haven't stopped it yet, but they can.
Bruce Kozlik screaming that the clock should be stopped. Now, I would think that, O'Brien will just throw it to the ground.
You know, you can get away with a lot of things. That time, O'Brien goes up to throw the ball down. And I'm going to tell you something right now. He is really livid because they're holding him on the ground. You have a right to be mad. But the other thing is that the whole offensive line of the Jets was moving. There should be a penalty on this play and move the ball back another 5 yards.
Down to 20 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. The Jets are down by 7. They are at the Houston 47-yard line. Warren Moon with another sensational day against the Jets in the earlier meeting. 35 for 50. Came on strong in the second half. And he's 28 for 40 for the day. And O'Brien firing one deep downfield. Al Toon almost had it. And a flag is thrown.
And they are calling offensive pass interference. I mean, it got quiet in here. Now it won't. They just found out it's against the Jets.
He was involved with Chris Dishman among several Houston defenders.
I don't know whether it was Toon or Mathis, because Mathis happened to be
Pass
over in that area.
Number 88 offense. 10 yards. Replay second down.
I don't know where he touched it, but from the back we don't see it because the referee on that side was there. So the call was made. 10-yard penalty.
Looked like he pushed off. You see the clock running down. 10 seconds remaining. And O'Brien again fires. Incomplete. 6 seconds to go.
And this will be the last play because it's going to take that ball 6 seconds by the time O'Brien sets up to get it to the end zone. And here's where Houston, I'd take 4 guys and move them back by the 10-yard line and just sit there and wait on it. There goes Bo Orlando. He's on his way back. He is number 26. Look at Bo. There's a 30. He'll move back further than that. He's trying to call Johnson back and Dishman back. There they go. Bo's back, Orlando's back to the 25 and backing up.
And here it is. O'Brien throws one. Hail Mary effect. And it's picked off by Bo McDowell.
Get on the ground.
I don't think, no, it is. It's an Atlanta Falcon finish.
That's crazy. That is stupid.
That is really difficult to understand off what we saw in the final seconds yesterday. And here are the Oilers taking a chance with the same maneuver, and very fortunate that the game has come to a close.
It really is, because that is, it may be cute for the fans and everybody's having a great time looking at it, but it's actually a stupid play. You don't jeopardize anything. As soon as Bubba McDowell got the ball, he should have hit a knee. Right then, the game is over with. Don't take any chances. If he's hit, that ball pops up, the Jets get it, they go for a touchdown, and what are you going to say? There's no way that a coach will justify that last play.
So the Houston Oilers defeat the New York Jets by the score of 17-10, and here is that Hail Mary fling by O'Brien.
And this is the dumb part. Go get down on a knee. Get out of there.
And it will be Houston and Denver in Denver in a second-round playoff game here on NBC next Saturday. We'll be back after these words.